Hurricane Grace is just to the west of Grand Cayman Island, headed for the Yucatan Peninsula. Good morning, I'm Mike Nasa with this 11:30 a.m. Wednesday update on the tropics. Hurricane Grace is the main topic. It is right there in the western Caribbean Sea, getting better organized, forecast to strengthen and make landfall in Mexico. There's Grace right there over the areas of the Caribbean Sea. We also have Henri, which is trying hard to be a hurricane. It's not one yet, but it could be more of a factor for New England and the United States than we thought before. I'll talk about that. You can also see what's left of Fred here spreading on off over areas of Pennsylvania, the Appalachians, and the Ohio River Valley with tropical air, cloudiness, and some rainfall. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started with Hurricane Grace as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It was at 19.4 north, 82.2 west, winds of 75 miles per hour, so Grace is a minimal hurricane, Category 1, moving west-northwest at 15, and that pressure about 992 millibars, so it is falling, and Grace is expected to strengthen into a stronger Category 1 hurricane before landfall here in the Yucatan Peninsula. It could be Cancun, it could be Cozumel, it could be further south, but somewhere here on the northeast tip looks to be where landfall will occur very late tonight, Wednesday night, into early Thursday morning. After that, Grace will cut across the Yucatan, weaken to a tropical storm, and then come back as a hurricane, and then strengthen into a stronger Category 1 once again, and then sometime Friday night, Saturday, make landfall here in eastern mainland Mexico, somewhere between, say, Tampico and Veracruz, but anybody in that area needs to be on the alert. I do have the watches and warnings. A hurricane warning is in effect from Cancun to Punta Herrero, including Cozumel, and we also have a tropical storm warning for the Cayman Islands and the Yucatan north of Cancun to Campeche, and from south of Punta Herrero to Punta Costa Maya, also a tropical storm watch for the southern coastline there of Cuba, because these tropical storm winds could buffet those areas. Again, you can see the track here through time. It's been rather steady west to west-northwest right over Jamaica. Hurricane gusts in the Caymans today, and then it's expected to pretty much continue that straight on through. So this is going to be kind of a straight line hurricane, it looks like. A lot different than that monster we were thinking headed up towards Florida. There's just too much ridging keeping the system moving to the west for it to get further north towards the United States. Here's the visible satellite imagery of Grace. Right in here is where the eye of the hurricane is. It's not showing that well on satellite yet, but it's bubbling. Grand Cayman Island is right about here where I circled in red, and they have had very nasty conditions. All of this expected to head towards the west, and then right here is the island of Cozumel, Cancun further north, and areas like Chetumal, Mexico down here. You guys are all needing to get your hurricane plan in place, get away from the water, low-lying areas, as Grace moves your way. Again, the forecast models, very good agreement that this thing's going to move west to west-northwest and then maybe even bend a little south there with that high pressure digging in, and so anybody in this area of Mexico needs to be on the alert. The computer forecast models, the individual models that I'm looking at, this is the HWRF. Now, it initializes it as of 6Z, weaker than it is. It has it as a 1,000 millibars. It's actually 992, but you can see it makes it a powerful hurricane, crosses the northeast tip of the Yucatan, comes back out, and strengthens into a Category 4 before making landfall there just north of Tampico in about 72 hours on Saturday. So we're going to watch Grace over the next couple of days, see how much it strengthens, but right now a hurricane landfall in Mexico looks very, very likely. Here's the wind shear, and as the Hurricane Center noted, you still do have some shear coming in from the north over the top of it that's impeding it a bit. However, other than that and a little bit of mid-level dry air, the environment looks pretty good for Grace to strengthen at least steadily, and so once it gets further towards the west, the environment looks very good, low wind shear throughout, and so we'll likely see it organize into a stronger hurricane. The key messages for Hurricane Grace as of 11 a.m. Number 1, hurricane conditions and a dangerous surge are expected in that hurricane warning area in the Yucatan beginning late Wednesday, early Thursday. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion. Number 2, there is an increasing risk of hurricane conditions and surge in eastern mainland Mexico beginning late Friday, and we'll probably see a hurricane watch go up for that area later today. Number 3, over the next few days, heavy rain over the Caymans as well as the Yucatan and the Veracruz state down here in Mexico should lead to flash and urban flooding with mudslides possible in Veracruz. So that's a big concern. The flooding rains we've already seen grace flood areas of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Here's the latest in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking viewers. If you guys want to pause this and get the latest information there in Spanish language. Now we go to Henri. Henri, as of 11 a.m., was at 30.0 north, 66.6 west, 65 miles per hour. It's a strong tropical storm moving west at 8. And it is still not a hurricane. It's trying, but not quite there yet. However, it is forecast to continue to the west and then turn to the north in response to an erosion of the ridge of high pressure over here and move off towards the northeast as a hurricane by Monday. But we're getting a little bit more nervous with Henri for a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you why. Here's the satellite image, and you can see, first of all, it is a tight coiled storm trying to be a hurricane, still getting that wind shear from the north like Grace, and that's what's impeding it. It does have a mid-level eye. It should become a hurricane over the next couple of days, so that's not the issue as much as the track. Here's the forecast models, and you can see they do what we're saying off to the northeast, but some of them are starting to bend it back towards New England. Now, why would they be doing that? Well, it looks as though on some of these models, high pressure is building back in once the system's moving to the north, and so instead of pushing it northeast out to sea, it's kind of pushing it more north or northwest towards New England. Now, this happens a lot with systems, and usually it doesn't pan out, but you can see the GFS model takes Henri right on up towards areas there of Long Island and New England, and that's a hurricane landfall there. And that would be a very, very big problem if that did occur sometime early next week. The other model showing something similar, the Hworth model, makes Henri a hurricane, and you can see there it does end up turning it right at the end towards Cape Cod. So we're going to watch this. There's no reason to panic yet, but if you're in New England or you're planning to be in New England, keep an eye on Henri. These are the GFS ensembles, and you can see a lot of them want to keep it more north rather than northeast. And that doesn't seem like a big difference, but trust me, that's the difference between this system never being remembered and moving out to sea versus slamming into Long Island as a hurricane. So we're going to watch Henri. Again, the key messages right now, number 1, swells could reach the east coast of the U.S. and Atlantic Canada by the end of the week and continue. Life-threatening surf and rip currents, I'd stay out of the water. And number 2, uncertainty in the track forecast for Henri this weekend and early next week is larger than usual. And there is some risk of a direct impact in portions of the northeastern U.S. and Atlantic Canada. Interest in those areas should follow updates, including these updates, to the forecast throughout the next several days as we will all watch Henri. Fred, what's left of Fred here, moving over areas of West Virginia, State College, Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, a lot of cloudy, nasty gray weather, but some rainfall as well with it. You can see the radar image there of the United States. Most of the rain shield extending from eastern Ohio all the way through Pennsylvania, and Fred's taken his good old time to boot himself out of there after making landfall near Cape San Blas in the Florida Panhandle the other day. Finally, out in the Pacific, we have Hurricane Linda, still a powerful hurricane, all by her lonesome way out there in the middle of nowhere. So that'll do it on Hurricane Grace. Preparations to protect life and property on the Yucatan need to be rushed to completion. Grace is a Category 1. We'll have frequent updates as Grace and Henri spin in the Atlantic. I'm Mike Naso with the latest. I will talk to you guys next time.